to know you are who you are in order to make sure that we do not have this issue when it comes to businesses. I'm trying to find folks that have a problem with that. Why can't we just be straight up and say, we want to build a wall, that's something that people want to do, if it's not a physical wall. By the way, speaking of the wall, I just have to say this. People make their way to that deserted areas where those walls are. I don't know about anybody else, but if somebody said to you, you're not allowed to leave this place until you walk over there and you're going to have to figure out how to get out, and there's a 20-foot wall, concrete, half concrete, whatever it is, that's built over there. How long would it take for you to figure out how to get over? I don't know about anybody else, but I don't have a ladder. I don't know a whole lot of folks here. I don't know how we're going to figure that out, but somebody is going to have to put the time and the effort to make that happen. And if it's going to be something that's going to have people go over a wall, let's physically think about this. There's going to be evidence along the wall where we would see some kind of, whether it's a cherry picker device or whether it's a giant ladder or something. So if we have the electronic scaling of the wall as well, drones and the like that are cruising and can see this, then we have more time to stop something like this from happening. So the idea that a wall isn't going to do anything, I don't know about that necessarily. I like the idea of a wall. But a wall in E-Verify and sanctuary cities. I think we can all agree we have issues with, I mean, maybe not, but I have a problem with areas of this country, state, or local that would be housing illegals, because I feel as if, and I hear people talk about this, that the concern is, again, that people have decided to be activists and go against the rule of law. And if there are individuals that are willing to do that, how are we to trust not only the people that are in charge in these areas, whether it's state, local, or national, but then we have to trust that other people in other countries are going to do that for us. It's a tough road. So what about, for example, and I want to get back to this because I really want to know, asylum cases. Is that okay? I want to know about the asylum.
Okay, well, we want our members to ask the questions of the panel members. One of the things that I'll also say, just to remind the panel members, if I could just remind both of you all, we want Q&A. So when you ask a question, I want to make sure the panel actually answers it and then just doesn't take the time to sort of make another statement. So, okay, so we'll go to Christine's husband. He's got a little bit of okay, there's going to be a question. And then just remind the panel, let's answer their question. Okay, not sort of go off on, hey, another thing I want to say. Yes, sir.
Since you're involved in it, what's the process of asylum? Can you educate us on that? How does that happen? What do they have to go through? How many
First
people
of all,
are permitted?
pardon my French, I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of bullshit in asylum, okay? There are non-lawyers that prepare applications that are completely full of shit. One of the ideas of asylum is that you have no other safe place to go. So I've seen cases where you have somebody from Venezuela that the place is terrible. We know that. But they're a dual citizen with Italy or Spain, and they know it. But they go to somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, they prepare an application, and because our system's so inefficient, they're working here legally for 5 years before anybody will even look at the application and say, what are you talking about? If you're really so scared, go to Italy. I'm sure it's perfectly fine there. Food's great. Weather's nice. I'm sure there's plenty of things to
People are amazing.
right? Right, like the Castros of southern Italy. Beautiful people. We do have an inefficient system. We know it. The process is that if you are here and within the first year you make an affirmative application, as opposed to you're caught, you're defending yourself in front of the court. You make an affirmative application, it can be years. I agree. I think that there should be some sort of preliminary screening. Do you have a real case, or are you taking advantage of our generosity? We're a generous people. This country gives a lot. We care. That's what separates us. That's what makes us better than everybody else. We're the best. And part of that is compassion. It's not just saying, I'm sorry that you don't speak English and that your clothes are raggedy. Get out of here, okay? We need to offer help to people that are the most downtrodden without the others taking advantage of us. At the same time, we need a real guest worker program. If there just aren't enough people here to harvest the food that we need at a price that we can afford, let's bring them in for the harvest season. Then they can go back. Then they could come back the next year. And then maybe we could say, okay, if it's just for work, just you come. Don't bring your whole family. Leave them there. Okay? And maybe we could say, if you follow our laws for 20 years, we'll reward you with applying for residency at the end. Or something. We could think of something together. We could think of a way to resolve it. Not everything, but some of it. We have to make their lives better, or they're going to keep coming here. We have to deal with the demand in the labor, or they're going to keep coming here. They come here for us. They send people, good or bad people, send drugs to this country because they're buying it here. It's all supply and demand. So we got to find a real way to deal with it. I don't think putting up a wall is going to scare people away in 2018.
Question? Anybody? Ma'am.
Who are your typical clients?
Okay, here's a really important thing to know, okay? So most people that don't have any sort of connection or knowledge of people from the outside world think that people that are coming to this country are somebody from Central or South America with no education that's going to come here and that's going to take your job. Okay, first of all, we work with companies that bring people here legally. We work with foreign companies that are setting up branches here legally and sending people here. Okay, there is a lot of business for all of us. Our BMWs are made in South Carolina by a German company, but employing us and benefiting us, and all the dealerships that are employing Americans. This is just one tiny little example. We need immigration. We need people to pay the tax and the Social Security tax, and we need people to do the labor, the things that we don't want to do.
Did that answer?
No, you didn't answer my question.
Who are your clients?
But I like where
Okay,
you're
so my
going.
clients are investors from Europe, from South America, from Canada, from Australia, from Japan. They are businesses from all these regions. There are Americans that met people from abroad that want to marry and bring their family here. They're everywhere from all walks of life. All walks of life.
How many from the border?
Sir?
Almost none. Almost none.
Yeah, right.
We almost never see any of these really politicized cases, which I think that it's just really such a small, tiny little fraction, but it's just big news.
Okay, let's try to get some more questions. Yes, sir?
Just briefly, history. My parents came through, and grandparents came through Ellis Island.
Me too.
And went to Canada. I'm Canadian. Did they come documented or undocumented? How did they come here? What's the history of this? What's changed?
The business clients that most of the people, the overwhelming majority of the people come here legally. Some people have overstayed and some people have come illegally. But the overwhelming majority of everything that we do, we really can't accomplish much if people have come here illegally. If they come here illegally,
So he's basically asking in history, right? Your grandparent, your relatives, back when, how did they get here? You know, they got off the boat, they had no paper, they got to walk in. I think I know what the answer is going to be. The times have changed, but
yeah, they've changed, and the people have changed. You know, maybe 100 years ago, they thought that the Jews, the Italians, the Polish, whatever, that you know, we were all the dregs, and now
Whoa.
I pointed to myself
My
first.
people built this country.
I pointed to myself first. We financed this country, right?
Well,
But
okay.
just different times bring different waves, but we're all integrated here.
Back here, there was anybody at that table? Just to give you a chance, ma'am. Go ahead.
What is the difference in the crime rate between sanctuary cities and similarly economically yoked non-sanctuary cities?
I honestly don't know the answer to that. I don't know if you do.
I think it's different. It's different in different places. I don't think it's necessarily one size fits all when it comes to that question. Certainly, we see more examples of crimes by illegals in sanctuary cities due to the fact that they are harbored there. So that is just statistically true. Can I just make a comment about what we talked about just before? About the gentleman talking about documented and undocumented, talking about your family. My family came through Ellis Island. But I think the one common denominator here is that everybody appears to have come through one place. I mean, everybody was funneled through one area. We all made sure that when you came in, you had a point of entry. You knew the point of entry, and whatever the government had to do to make that point of entry work, that's what we did. I don't know of the stories, if you go back to the turn of the 20th century and before, of people rushing across our borders or making their way on ships in areas like North Carolina and South Carolina and pulling up on shore and going, all right, I'm here, I'm walking. I don't ever hear stories like that. I do hear stories of people who came in through the process that was put in place by the government of this country. And I think that's all we're asking for, even when it comes to issues of needing jobs. People who are doing all the jobs that we talk about.
Right, I don't disagree. I think we need a real guest worker program.
And I think that the system's broken, and we all have to agree it has to be fixed, and we all have to say that when it comes to that, well, let's work on that issue. Let's all agree that we need workers, but the idea that somebody would come across illegally and go, I'm here to mow your lawn, that's what people have a problem with, right? Ultimately, yeah. So that's
this is a 100% common ground that we agree.
Wait, get a shot of that.
Drew, do it again. I want a shot.